All right, once I got the fuel bowl open up, one of the things I've done, I've sprayed in here, just some PB Blaster, and just to get things loosened up a little bit. These tubes here are going to have to come out to get a really good cleaning, and they're just I don't say a pressed fit, but they just slide in there, and boy, they're always the devil to get out. But anyway, looks like as far as what goes on here with the butterflies, we're pretty good. But we'll know more when we tear into this thing, get down in the base, check everything out. I'm surprised it's not very dirty in there. Looks pretty clean. So, all right, we're taking out the needle and seat here, and most 56s I've seen have a threaded boss where the seat threads into. I think in 55 and early 56. I don't know. I don't think I've ever taken part in any 56 carburetors that had a smooth bore, but I know 55s. A lot of them had a smooth bore for the seat, and boy, it created some leak issues. But the float seems to be in good shape. I don't know. We'll have to test it out and see all of that. And of course, there's shaft that screws into this side. That's another place that these things can leak here with the shaft. I will seal that a little bit, make a note of that. But anyway, we'll keep disassembling here from up top. All right, these are the times when you appreciate whoever had this before. The fuel bowl's not all dried up, because boy, the jets barely put some torque on them, and they backed right out, and then so did the power valve. I've already put that power valve here in my cylinder, but I'm hoping that these tubes here, that they'll come out pretty easily too. I don't know. I've got a specially modified set of needle nose that will work on those and be able to grab inside there just a little bit, clamp onto that, and then pull that out. So we'll see. Also want to make sure you take out your check ball and keeper out of the bore here where the accelerator pump goes. I've already got one of these out, so not too difficult. But maybe too, though, take this apart, turn this upside down, have a really small punch, and knock that through the other way. So, but anyway, I can tell someone's had this out. They look like they pried up on it a little bit before. Right there, not a huge deal, but anyway, shaft, and there was a screw, machine shoulder screw that went through there, and of course through the bosses here, and it looks like at some point, obviously this has been replaced, so someone's been into this a number of times, because the seal there is not leather. The original ones were leather, I believe. We can take that apart, and then most kits, they'll either have at least a new seal here, or sometimes even the seal in the whole shaft underneath that spring that goes right up. So we'll disassemble this and clean everything thoroughly. All right, there are two bolts that hold both the fuel bowl and the choke horn, air horn, to the main base. And of course, this one goes right up through the middle, has a lock washer on it. There was a smaller one. There's a smaller one that I've already put in here. You can see it down in there to the left right there, kind of dark, but has a lock washer as well. Of course, there's a third. There's a small one, goes in right here. It screws down to the base. Put that there, and then this right here should just come up a little bit. There's an O-ring under here. Of course, this is our fuel feed. They go in through here and all of that. So kind of interesting. I talked about the secondary tube setup. Basically, this feeds the fuel bowl. This is the cap here for the needle and seat. We already removed the float there. Interesting thing with, of course, you guys also saw the diaphragm there on the cap, but fuel feeds back up through here, comes back up through the secondary tubes, and then back down to the secondary. So fun times. As we don't often see when taking these apart, obviously the fitting here that goes into where the fuel feeds into the base, but the spring and the small screen still here. So I thought that was interesting. We'll put that in there, clean those things up. I did find a little gift in here. I don't know if you can tell, but there are two small washers way down inside the board there for the fuel feed. The fuel comes in through here and then feeds up. So anyway, yeah, I've already taken out the piece there that has an O-ring, and it fits in there. O-ring for that side and O-ring for the fuel bowl that fits on top of it. But all right, so we're going to go ahead and take apart the secondary diaphragm, all this mechanism here for the secondary butterflies. Completely remove that. We'll take off the spark control valve and basically strip everything down, with the exception of the butterflies in the secondary and the primary on this one, and then see where we stand. I'm going to go ahead and strip the other three as well. I've got 3 more 56 carburetors. Especially want to get into this one that's been rebuilt and see how it sits. I don't think I've had these fuel bowls open, so I don't know how they're going to look inside. But I definitely want to figure out which two have the least amount of play in the butterfly shaft. This one's got a little bit in it. So this one right here would almost, to me, seem like I'd want to rebuild and reshaft that if I had to. Hopefully out of these 4, I can find at least where I can get 2 good bases, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so we pulled this, pulled the air horn off, and the fuel bowl that sits on top of the air horn, kind of an odd looking thing. Just a couple of years before it did this, but I don't know what this is right here, but boy, I've not seen any kind of a rubber neoprene seal between the air horn and fuel bowl, but obviously that's what this is. And when I referred to the wire earlier for keepers, this is what I'm talking about here with these 2 screws, and it's kind of a keeper to keep in case those screws ever backed out. But anyway, we'll get all this cleaned up, and then I've got to knock out, you can see that goes straight through. I've got to knock out that one there. That's probably why the other one was bent a little bit, but we'll see if we can't get that to come out. All right, we finally got this one out of here. It's going to look the same as the other one. None the worse for wear. The way that works, of course, the fuel comes up from the bottom there, shoots out through that hole, and of course that little cap there, little top piece, just directs that down, so that it'll shoot down here through these bores. So anyway, not too bad on the inside. The thing's pretty clean, so it'd be nice to clean this one up pretty easily, I think. One thing to note right here, obviously these are the bolts I use to stand the carburetor up and keep the pressure or keep the weight off the base. But this piece here, somebody added, didn't do a very good job, but tried to seal off the hole here that goes through. This was just add some more warm air, and I know that this tube would run also to the choke tube. Excuse me, this hole would run to the or off the heat tube or off the manifold, and of course that would be open to the throttle bores, so it's not filtered air. And some guys don't, you know, they forget that that's got to be sealed up. But looking over here, see someone's got a grommet there, and there was a tube that would go up in there to give it fresh air or warm air. Let me see what this one's got. This one's got the grommet as well. And probably, I'm assuming this is going to have the grommet too. Yep. But these days, I think with this electric choke, it's not going to be needed, especially you don't run around in cold weather too often, so I don't need to remove that as well.